Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the new promotional site for Dawntrail. I thought we had some sort of promotional site already, but I think it just had a bunch of text listing off all the features, something that launched after FanFest or whatever. This one has new descriptions on everything, a compilation of a lot of the screenshots and images that we've seen through the various fan festivals and on their social media. And in the top left, it even has the free trial and benchmark. We're still waiting on the updated benchmark, and I can see it's a little cut off with the way I have it cropped, but that's just how it's going to be. All the same, we're just going to look through, see if there's anything interesting. I haven't taken a look. I've only seen a few things on social media piecemeal. So without further ado, let's get... Oh, no, it's flashbang. Listen, I guess we got to get used to the flashbang now as opposed to waiting for when the game itself actually launches and we get it on the load screen. So yeah, it's just got, Warrior of Light, winds of a new adventure beckon you to distant shores. Having defeated the despair of the final days, the Warrior of Light and their comrades have resumed walking their respective paths. Yet fate would see them reunited for a mission unto another reflection, and now an unexpected petition has arrived beckoning them west to the faraway continent of Tural. So unto another reflection is, of course, an interesting choice of words, because when people think of reflections, they think of the first, they think of the other areas. I don't think they're using it in that context here. It's a very unfortunate word. I mean, maybe they are. That's part of the surprise. But I think that's just a matter of, they chose that word and everyone's going to kind of latch onto it, Answer the call, seek new horizons, and embark upon an adventure, the likes of which you have never experienced. So they then have all of these different sections. Now, my internet actually went out, so I have like opened separate tabs for all this stuff. They're like, oh, we're installing fiber in your area. And then they're like, now we're installing it in your building. Let's shut your internet down for even more days. Yeah, but so you can see Tural is composed of a rich tapestry of cultures, now united as a single nation. In this vibrant land awaits new friends, fearsome foes, and unforgettable stories. Jobs, it says, pick the Mancer and Viper on it. Gameplay, Season of Adventure has pulled you into port with new dungeons, raids, and other fresh challenges. Systems, immerse yourself in the beauty of Eorzea with an all-new graphics update, female Hrothgar, and many other exciting additions and upgrades. Now, what we're most concerned about is the text. Very similar to this whole reflection bit. There's bound to be some fun stuff. You can see I scrolled to the bottom to make sure it was all here. So this is just descriptions on all the areas. If you've been keeping up with the live letters, there's really not much to say here. Zak Tural to the north and Yak Tural to the south composes the New World. Many and diverse people spend centuries mired in territorial wars until the epic deeds of Gulul Jaja and his dream of Tuliolal saw them united under a banner of a single nation. And we're assuming that's all up for grabs, especially with what we know about the champions that are competing for the throne. City of Tuliolal marches up the side of a mountain, the path from its coastal harbor to the lofty palace at its summit, marked by a profusion of slopes and stairs. Embodying the ideals of the nation with which it shares its name, this ever-bustling metropolis is home to a population drawn from all lands of Tural. And then we've got the various images that we've seen throughout this. Of course, we've got the walkthrough that they did during one of the live letters as well. So if you've missed a bunch of live letter stuff, this website's a great way to get caught up on all that. Solution 9, of course, they go right to one of the biggest mysteries of the entire expansion. A city of towering facades constructed by an entirely different civilization than that of Tuliolal. What chain of events could possibly bring you into this strange place? That's what everyone wants to know. Urkapacha, the mountainous region of Yak Tural, is inhabited by two peoples of vastly different stature, the childlike Pelu Pelu and the gargantuan Yakhui. Such disparities, however, shrink into insignificance before the brooding majesty of Warkor Zormor, the tallest peak in Tural, which you can see right there. Then we've got Yaktel. These dense woodlands can be reached by the dirigibles, which cross the mountain range to the southeast of Tuliolal. The highlands are rich in game and settled by Zbral. I'm going to assume one of those consonants is silent, and it's not Zbral, but I'm going to say Zbral. The lowlands, where the thick canopy blocks the sunlight, are inhabited by the Memulja. The region is dotted with naturally occurring wells known as cenotes, which are formed when water accumulates in sinkholes. And we've got Kuzamuka. To the south of Tuliolal stretch the verdant forests of Kuzamuka. Rivers, great and small, flow from the mountains to the west and pour into the region, creating breathtaking waterfalls. Although the peoples which inhabit the region resemble goblins and the Vanu, those are the moblins, they have each built unique cultures within the vast wilderness. Again, all just stuff we already knew, just embellished for the sake of, the promotional site. Shaluani, the rain-starved plains of this region located in central Tural, make for a striking contrast with the verdant surrounds of its largest lake. The discovery of cerulean deposits in recent years has brought sweeping change to the area, including constructions of a railroad, even as local peoples maintain their cultural traditions. And heritage found, which, of course, houses this all the way in the back, which is where most people think Solution 9 is, that it's something to do with this giant orb in the back. However, I've already heard some details about the Arcadian in this that, well, I guess we'll just have to get there and read it and, you know, have this. In this region, overflowing with lightning energies, thick thunderclouds blot out the sun, while streaks of purple levin illuminate the land day and night. Yeah, you can see it again in this image right here in the back. Then we have new threats. Valagarmanda from Final Fantasy VI. Some of you may know them as Tritok, if you only played it back in the day. This legendary beast, held to be the mightiest in all Tural, is possessed of a serpentine body and wings of a bird. Each time it has embarked upon a rampage, it has inflicted terrible scars upon the land, for which it has come to be dreaded as the Sky Ruin. Can't wait to fight that. If I had to bet, this is going to be the 83 trial, and then you have the Eliminator here, who, given the more high-tech appearance of it, and this is a much better image of the Eliminator, I think is more likely to be an 87 or 89 trial. And then, of course, the Barrel Tender, who just looks cool. We also have the Pelu Pelu, which you may recognize from Final Fantasy X, as well as the Moblins from Final Fantasy XI, the Mammal Jaw from Final Fantasy XI, the Yakhui, who are the trolls in Final Fantasy XI, and the Hanu Hanu, which are a variant of the Vanu Vanu that we experience over in the Sea of Clouds. So that is it for the world-related stuff. There are, however, descriptions of all of these. I'm a little afraid with my internet being out to click through it. We'll see what happens. Pelu Pelu, as deft of hand as they are of tongue, this diminutive people from Urquepacha are best known for their skill as merchants, traveling the continent upon the alpacas to peddle tea, coffee, mezcal, and fabrics woven from the wools of their steeds. Their masks are an indubitable symbol of reliability, marking all who don them as trustworthy partners in trade. Okay, it does work fine. The Moblins of Kuzamauka share some remarkable similarities to goblins, not least in all of appearance. Renowned for their ability to unearth the finest and rarest, these collectors facilitate the creation of beautiful metalworks by providing their contracted artisans with superior materials and working environments. Maybe they'd be part of a relic in some way. Whether it be crafting or gathering, we'll see. Mammal Jaw, hailing from the lowest forest of Yaktel, the Mammal Jaw are divided into 3 distinctive clans, each possessive singular talents, the Hobigo, Bunewa, and Dopro. Once the Mammal Jaw fought bitterly with the people of Zibral, but after the establishment of Tuliolal, many chose a life of peace within the city instead. Sounds like we'll still be coming to blows with quite a few of them. The Yakhui, in ancient times, these giants of Urquepacha dominated the Turali continent, but several centuries ago their power waned and they withdrew to a secluded mountain home. Sparse though they are in number, the Yakhui continue to immortalize their existence with glyphic traditions according to their unique beliefs of life and death. And the Hanu Hanu, though their resemblances are many, the Hanu Hanu of Kozamauka bear notable differences to their Vanu Vanu counterparts, not least of which being the distinctive hue of their feathers. Revering the great bird Kixiahi, I had to really struggle with that one. They reside in waterside environments where they cultivate the verdant reeds upon which they subsist. I don't like ever hearing about something being revered in Final Fantasy XIV. We all have the same thought anytime that comes up. Now let's go on to the new jobs. Now, there really isn't much to say here. If you've watched anything in regards to these jobs, the most you're going to get is the descriptions of the lore. Among the myriad beasts of Tural, a select few awaken to preternatural power, becoming what are known as the Tural Vidral. To overcome the threat of these almighty beings, hunters studied one of the nature's deadliest predators, one capable of overcoming foes greater even than themselves, the Viper. They are swift and agile, with dual blades like fangs to bite, or combine into a single weapon to weave about the battlefield. Named for the serpent that inspired their fighting style, the Vipers of Tural remain steadfast in their duty to defend the people. Good, we finally understand what the premise of Viper is and why it's called a Viper, although still not wild about the name. Then we have Pictomancer, though the 5th, we already know, if you've actually done 6.55, you already know the history of Pictomancer, but we'll read it anyway. Though the 5th Astral Era is most famously associated with the War of the Magi, a wealth of lesser-known legends were forged in that bygone era. Among them is the tale of the Archon Realm, an itinerant artist and mage who relinquished her traditional staff for a magic brush. With it, she would render abstract images to life, establishing an entirely new school of magic in so doing. Masters of this arcane discipline follow in the Archon's footsteps, wielding vibrant hues of ether to invoke all manner of fantastical beasts, weapons, and landscapes from their mind's eye. For the source of the Pictomancer's power lies not in their artistic skill, but the richness of their imagination with which they strive to paint a brighter future. There's also the job action trailer here if you haven't seen it, but if you've been keeping up with all that stuff, then none of this is really any surprise to you. Now for gameplay, this is just a refresher of all the content. So we have Echoes of Vana'diel. Adventure beckons to an altogether different world, Vana'diel. What challenges await in this new Alliance raid crossover? Now, of course, the question becomes, is it a reflection, which they've already used the word once before, so, you know, that's going to be on people's minds. Is it going to be some sort of, because it's echoes, I like to imagine that it's more like a remembrance of a past civilization that exists potentially over in Tural or in one of the areas there. But I don't know, I feel like more likely we're going to be digging into a past and, you know, uncovering stuff similar to the way that we did with the Evolution raids, but remains to be seen. It's completely up in the air. Then we have the Arcadian. So when the Arcadian was first announced, I Googled what an Arcadian was. I'm sure they didn't make up this name. And it was supposed to be a simulated paradise. That is what the word Arcadian means. However, the description of the Arcadian here is a lot different. Here at the Arcadian, you'll find a grand spectacle unlike any other. The realm's greatest fighters pit against fist and magic against magic. Fist against fist and magic against magic. Putting their lives on the line as crowds howl and clamor, each clash more visceral than the last. Step into the arena if you dare and either rise to become champion or fall forever in your ignominy. So the big thing is that if Solution 9 is made by this other civilization, then the Arcadian being a gladiator pit and still kind of being this kind of simulated paradise is not actually all that wild. It does raise a lot of questions about what we're actually seeing here, if this is just like part of the arena and the actual arena is at the top or inside. But there's still the questions of like the Final Fantasy X-esque sign over on the left-hand side, the more Final Fantasy 9-esque bits of Solution 9, and if any of that's going to truly inspire what we're seeing here. There's a lot of different ways it can go based on the games that people feel like are going to influence it. But I don't think it's going to be as simple as just being almost like Omega 2.0, which is what it reads. It kind of reads just like, well, we can do whatever we want in here. But there has to be a story. There has to be a reason behind this. It can't just be, oh, we're doing an arena and that's it. And you'll win after, you know, you do 3 raid tiers. You know, so it's curious to see what will actually be the conflict happening there. And then we have Futures Rewritten Ultimate. This is pretty much a similar description to everything before, but it does give us a little bit of insight. Like a river, the future winds in boundless ways. A single ripple may alter the course of its flow, and as one ripple leads to another, myriad are the possibilities. Sounds like right off that description, we are getting something more DSR-esque. So it is in this land once blighted by the flood of light, where the resistance of many gave way to a morrow blessed by the night sky. If similarly the future wrought by 2 young women were but one of countless possibilities, what other forms could their morrow have taken? Fascinated by such visions, the minstrelling wanderer weaves a ballad of futures rewritten. So yeah, the big question here. The way that the Savage raids end, essentially, for those who haven't done it, spoilers, I'm only spoiling what happens at the end of the Savage raids. But Gaia dies. You kill her. That's just the result of the Savage raids, which, for those who don't remember, are supposed to be kind of, it's not really Mitron's memories so much as it's kind of how he envisioned everything going to some capacity, or it's like another outcome that he envisioned, or at least some take on that. It's I'd have to reread the exact text, but there is some lore behind how the Savage version of all of Eden kind of takes place. But I think what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be trying to alter that. You know, essentially, same events happen. You know, some things go wrong. It doesn't go as right as it did for us. And we have to really kind of, you know, bring it all to fruition. I'm hoping it doesn't end with us just killing both of them. Which, you know, I think we'll have to fight both of them. I don't think they both have to die, though. But I'm really curious to see. It does sound like it'll be more DSR-esque with almost like a more alternate case of events and like how that actually affects everything. So that should be exciting because DSR is liked a lot for that. Then we just have the new dungeons. You know, we've again seen previews of all of these, and it's just the generic description. cosmic exploration. We know this is like Ishgard Restoration. And then new field operations. We have an actual description of where our new field operation will be. Even the most dauntless of sailors would sooner abandon ship than steer into Shade's Triangle, Bermuda Triangle. Be not fooled by the lush and fertile island you spy on the horizon. Men and vessels alike have been lost to its allure, never to be seen again. The wisest choice is to dismiss it as mere illusion, but of course there are inevitably those who cannot resist the call of adventure. So we now know where it is. It's not going to be... There's been a bunch of locations people have been guessing. We don't have to guess. Shade's Triangle is the location. I'm sure if we pull up the map, we can probably spot it. And then Beastmaster, don't even think too much about this. We're not going to see Beastmaster until like 0.45 or 0.55 or something like that. They tame wild creatures, unparalleled affinity with their charges. Work continues apace to bring this new limited job to the game. Yeah, we're literally like a year and a half, 2 years out from that, so don't think too much of it. And then just some other features that they don't have more details on yet. PvP updates for 0.1, variant updates for whenever they add those again. You know, the new trials. We'll get 2 extreme trials on release, and then we'll get 1 per patch after that. Minimum 1 per patch after that. Sometimes they throw an extra. Unreal will be gone in 0.0 and returning in 0.1. New Deep Dungeon, if I had to wager a guess, 0.35. Blue Mage updates, 0.25 wouldn't surprise me. Hildebrand, probably 0.15 or 0.25, and Gold Saucer updates whenever they decide to do them. And those can be enjoyed without purchasing Dawntrail. So there's... Okay, and then that's it for the gameplay section we have here. Then we have systems, which is just, if you haven't, again, if you've been keeping up, female Hrothgars being added. The Hrothgar people hail from Ilsabar, the Turali people with shared ancestry, the Zabral. Call Yaktrel home. Female number, relatively few among the population, but are readily identifiable by their lithe, muscular forms. Equally distinctive is their predisposition for leadership. That's been a big thing. They wrote the Hrothgar lore, and essentially, female Hrothgar are always raised to positions of power because that's just what it is. So, that was why there's like so few of them, and it's like a big deal. But it's, you know, it's kind of like how male Viera, there were so few of them, and there was a lore reason, but, you know, they don't really care as much anymore. They just want people to be able to play it. The graphical update, if you've been keeping up with, system updates, which is like the 1 die, the 2 die system, you know, they just give you a quick little example of it right there. And then, you know, increased level cap, new gear and crafting recipes, duty support updates. I think they're, in one of these, I could have swore... Maybe they posted it to the press site, but I know they posted like, oh, no. They posted all the sets to the press site ages ago. I forgot about those. Oh, and that's a separate video altogether. So we'll cover that. That's just about the visa updates thing, but that's going to be a separate video. But anyway, yeah. Oh, then there's the actual media site. I feel like if I click this, it's going to not work. Oh, my internet must be back already. Cool. I guess I'll go back to streaming then. But yeah, this is just all the artwork and screenshots, a bunch of which they have added now. Yeah, they added all the crafter and gatherer ones to see here more clearly. That one's pretty cool. I think a lot of people are really going to like that one. All right. Yeah, you can see just a bunch of these renders of the various sets. That one's so fancy. Yep. All right. I'm not much on crafting and gathering, so I'm just doing a quick scroll through. I know crafters and gatherers go nuts for this stuff to make sure that they're... Yeah, that one's pretty obvious. That one's culinarian. Ah, mining. That definitely looks like a miner. That definitely looks like... I actually really like this set. This set's pretty cool. And that's definitely a fisherman. Oh, and look, it's Dawntrail. Are there any other brand new images here that we haven't seen before? Oh, I guess there's this one. I mean, no, we saw this one during the live letter. I guess it's just added to the site. Yeah, because it's the only one marked as new. And that's the only ones I'm really paying attention to, because these have all been on the site. All these other ones have been on the press site and publicly available for quite some time. And then in the screenshot section, I don't think there's anything we haven't seen in a live letter or something that's brand new. Although I do like seeing this picture of Gulul Jaja. Big fan. All right. And yeah, that's going to be a wrap for everything on the promotional site. Glad we got to read through all that stuff. Still some mysteries to unveil. Oh, maybe it's... Oh, no, the blind. No. Okay, I saved it. I didn't flashbang you one more time before the video was over. All right, that is going to be a wrap for this video on the promotional site for Dawntrail. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned for all content Final Fantasy XIV related. You know me, I always post a billion videos every time there's a new expansion. So get your inboxes ready, because I'll be uploading first kills, guides, thoughts, verses, all that stuff. But thanks for watching. I will see all of you in the next video. And until then, take care.